Wednesday here, of course, on the network. We'll be all over it. High Heat 2. Rocco Baldelli, of course, is their manager. Always a pleasure to have him with us. A Rhode Island native, spent a lot of the winter up there and froze, I'm sure, with snow. Happy he's in Fort Myers right now. Rocco, nice to chat again. Always a pleasure. How are you today, pal? Okay?
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I'm doing great. Everything's going well over here.
How was it being in Providence, your own stomping grounds, for a couple of months in the off season? Not bad, right?
Oh, it's not bad. I actually love going home. We spent many years going home to Providence and spending the off season, and recently we moved out to the woods. So it was us and the animals out there in the fresh air. But it was a good way to spend the off season this year. It was really nice and a way to kind of recharge.
There you go. Spring training. Let's get the spring training scenario going on right now. It seems like all these protocols are working well. We've only had the one thing with Abreu and the White Sox. So the first couple of weeks of spring, as far as the health aspect is concerned, A-OK throughout Florida. Give me some thoughts on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, we came in and we knew the first week or so would be maybe the most challenging time for us, we hope. We were able to get through it. I wouldn't say totally unscathed, but we were able to get on the field and play. Our guys came in really good shape. We had only one or two guys have any sort of COVID-related issues coming in, but we've been able to get our work done, have some fun. I think everyone's just happy to be back there out on the field in the sun, enjoying yourself, and kind of getting back into the swing of things after a while of being at home. I think this was something that a lot of people are waiting for, and it's been nice to have some people in the ballpark too. To kind of elevate the energy level, and you know, it allows the players to make it even more, you know, it makes it even more enjoyable for all of us.
Yeah, 100%. Let's hope we move along in that direction. I think we will all summer. Let's put 2020 to bed. I mean, it's listen, you only played 60 games. You did a tremendous job with making a postseason. The Astros had a little something to prove. I know you're getting tired of hearing it. You're not part of all the games, but it's 18 in a row now in a postseason for this Twins team. I'm sure you thought about it. Twins didn't hit in those two games. Give me some thoughts on the Astros series and what you came away with. Go ahead, Rocco.
Yeah. We had a good season. I'm really proud of what our guys were able to do and come together and figure it out under some tough circumstances. We played well. We went into the series against the Astros. Didn't put the runs on the board, and that can happen. But we know we have work to do. We know we have some things that we have to still figure out. And when we get those opportunities, and we fight all year to get there, play through a lot, and finally get a chance to play in the playoffs, we got to bring our game and show up and do our jobs the way that we know we can. But we have another great group coming in this year, a similar group to the group we've had in the past, but we brought in some new faces as well. So we think those guys will really complement things and really help us get where we need to be. But it's a fun group to be around and a super talented group.
You're funny because the year before against the Yankees, you didn't pitch well, but here you pitch well. So Maeda and everything else, your bullpen, you can't blame it on the pitching. It just didn't hit, which was surprising. All right, how about a couple things with health? Donaldson and Buxton. What can you tell me about both these guys right now? Obviously, Donaldson, you got to keep healthy. I think Buxton's already had a little setback. Give me a little rundown on those two. Rocco, what do you have for me?
These guys are doing well right now. Buck actually came into camp probably 10, 12 pounds stronger than when he left. He spent a lot of time in the weight room, but he also worked out with his track coach while he was home in Georgia and came in moving very, very well, but looking great. We hope that will also help him along the way. He's a hard worker, so we know what we're getting out of him. And JD also came in great, a guy that's very, very aware of his body, takes great care of himself. Obviously, JD dealt with a little bit of the calf issue last year. That's something that we think that we're going to be able to move past in some ways. I think there's going to be days early on in the spring and in the season where maybe he's down and we give him a little extra rest to make sure when he's out there he's ready to go. But when these guys are on the field, we are certainly a different team in a lot of ways. These are two of the most talented guys in the game. I enjoy watching them play when they're out there. So I think this is something that's not a secret to anyone. For us to be at our best, we do need those guys out there, and that's going to be a focus for us.
But of course, Buxton has only played 100 games once in his 6 seasons. That's a must, and we all know how good Donaldson is. We'll keep an eye on that. All right, how about the new kid out in left field? We saw him last year I think he got in a bat or two in that series with Houston and looked like he belonged. Does he have to prove himself? Does he have the left field job with Rosario out of there right away? What can you tell me about Kirilloff there as far as your outfield prospects are concerned?
Yeah, so we have some pretty capable outfielders. It's a great group, and Alex Kirilloff is going to fit into that group in time very, very well. He's a guy that can really, really swing, and he's got power to all fields, but he's a hitter first. If you really get a chance to spend some time around him, talk to him, his heart rate is about as low as it gets. He's built to play this game. Left field, but he can also play a pretty good first base too. So he's a guy that we're going to look to. I'm really looking forward to watching him play this spring. We're not going to name a left fielder. We're going to let the spring kind of play out, see what happens, but he's certainly going to be a guy that we are looking at. Jake Cave has done a great job for us along the way over the last couple of years. A very productive guy with a big personality too. He makes it fun for everyone. And we got the Brent Rookers and the Kyle Garlicks and some other guys in camp too that we're really going to look towards. So we have some work to do. We're going to give a bunch of guys some at bats, and we're going to see how this thing shakes out.
Does Kirilloff have a spot on the team? I mean, if he had a terrible spring, I mean, is he going to make the team? What's your take on his spring? Does he have to impress, or do you kind of know what he has to? You kind of know what he can do. What's your take on that, Rocco?
Well, I'm pretty comfortable with what Alex can do as a player. I don't think him making the team has anything to do with the numbers he's putting up or anything like that. I think a lot of us would agree that that's not really the point of spring training. Yes, we want to see some guys go out there, have good at-bats and things like that, but I think it's going to come down to more fit on the team and see how everything kind of works out. I think, again, I mentioned he's also pretty versatile, so there's other ways to kind of fit him in there and to make it work. But I don't think that anything that he's going to do one way or the other is going to, force the issue for us. He's a guy that's always produced. He's always hit. As long as he's comfortable, looks like himself, and is healthy, I'm sure he's going to put him in a good spot to make the team.
All right, Simmons at shortstop. We know he's wonderful defensively. He's had some good offensive years. He should help your defense. You move some people around a little bit. Give me some thoughts on him.
Yeah, Andrelton, actually we just got Andrelton cleared documentation-wise, and he should be traveling and be here very soon and hopefully active by maybe this weekend to get some work out in the field. He's been able to get a lot done in Curacao while he was there. He's really gonna strengthen us up the middle and allows Polo to move over to second base, get a lot of work in there. It allows Luis Arias to actually help us in multiple spots in the infield and maybe even potentially the outfield. So really, Andrelton Simmons solidifies us in a lot of ways. He's a good contact bat. He can use the whole field. I think he's a guy that complements our group. He just fits so well with what we are, what we need, what we can do going forward. On top of that, we're talking about obviously one of the greatest shortstops of our generation, a guy with tremendous instincts. I think a lot of our guys are going to watch him, learn a lot, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him hit the field.
Very good. I didn't know he was in Curacao, so he learned something there. Pitching staff. Maeda's good. Pineda, if they keep him upright, going to be good. Hap's been around the block a little bit. He'll help you some. You got Berrios there. I mean, you got a chance. You got to put a good pitcher. You had a good ERA last year, 3.54. A lot of times with the Twins, you always wonder, when they used to use the Yankees, you wondered about their starting rotation after Santana. That's not the case. You have some good pitching. And I would think their staff's deep, and I would think with your Colomé in the bullpen, you're okay with your rotation and your bullpen 1 through 12. Rocco, thoughts there?
Yeah, we are really pleased with both our rotation and our bullpen and the guys we get to work with. I think a lot of our lineup has gotten a lot of attention and has done some great things, and the offense becomes a big part of the discussion when you talk about our group. But our pitching staff has been a real strength of ours, and it's not just one guy, two guys that we look to get the job done. The depth of our group is really impressive. 1 through 5 in the rotation, regardless of who we're calling on, they always give us a chance to win. Our bullpen has been, just solid from top to bottom. Again, we're not just looking to Raj or just to Colomé. We have a number of guys that we're going to look to in big spots, and Duff and Stashak and Robles and Alcalin, Thielbar, and others. We have guys that we can look to, and we don't know what inning who's pitching where and how it's going to work on a regular basis, but we look to the guy that we think is going to help us in that particular spot and help us win a game. Our guys buy in. I'm thankful for that, and again, great group.
I didn't look at your early season schedule, but it's not easy, right? You're in Fort Myers, nice hot weather for a month, and then all of a sudden, you got to start in that division, and, there are no domes. Detroit, Cleveland, Kansas City, White Sox, and you. A lot of cold weather. How does that work? I don't know the Twins' starts the last couple years, but you go from nice hot weather, and then you play the first month and a half in Minnesota and elsewhere in the American League Central, where it can be pretty chilly. Thoughts there? What do you have for me on that? That's an aspect of it. A lot of teams that go to the warm weather, they're raring to go. You don't get that opportunity, and nor do teams in that American League Central. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's one of those things in baseball. It's the reality of what we deal with. Complaining does absolutely nothing to help the situation. Our guys don't complain. They get ready to play regardless. They go out there, they get their work in, and they show up. I think that's the mental toughness aspect, or whatever you want to call it, matters. And our guys again are ready. I've never heard any of our guys negatively talking about the situation or the weather. We got a great ballpark to show up to every day. Our guys will be clearly ready to go on opening day. Over the last couple of years, I think we've started out pretty good. There wasn't really any kind of lag. Another thing that's kind of a little different about the beginning of the season is all the day games that we do play. So the weather is different, obviously, but showing up and playing the 12 and 1 o'clock games almost every day for the first couple of weeks of the season is something else that's a little different for a normal regular season. But our guys will be ready.
And obviously in Milwaukee with Dome there right out of the gate, so you're okay with that. That's where the Twins open up. Finally, Rocco, yourself, you've been very successful. You've done a heck of a job with this team. What's the big thing that you have learned here? You came in here, young kid. What's the biggest thing you've learned as a manager that you didn't realize before you took the job? Responsibility, bullpen management. What's the one thing that has surprised you sitting in that chair?
Well, there's a lot that surprises me on a daily basis, but I'll tell you this, it takes an entire group to get things done. That's something that we talk about here. We openly acknowledge that we need everyone to come in every day ready to do their jobs. We're going to rely on a lot of people to get the job done ultimately, and that's in the clubhouse, that's with our players, that's with our staff, that's with our guys in the front office, our medical group. It's a team, and that's how we operate. And hopefully good things can continue to happen. And when I look around and see those things happening, it makes me feel good on the inside, because I know how we're getting it done. We try to get it done the right way.
And you can't worry about October until you get there. So we'll have that question for you postseason once we get to October with the Twins in it. How's that sound? Okay.
I hope so. That's what we're waiting for, and that sounds good. You know what else I was thinking, Chris? They finally allowed us to the players get to use those hand warmer pouches now, so all of us playing in the cold weather can use these things out on the field. I think everyone besides the pitchers and catchers. So there we go.
Good boy. I didn't realize that. All right, you gave me a little gem there. Well done there, Rocco. Enjoy Fort Myers. We'll see you along the way. Thanks for coming in. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Got it. Thanks, Chris.